All right, welcome back. Now, here's an example. So you notice it's in standard form. And so easily we could see that which one is the major axis. So the major axis is along the x-axis because the larger number is beneath the x variable. Okay, so we also know what the a and b are now, right? So we know that a has to equal what? So a is equal to 4 because this is a squared, right? So this is my a squared. This is my b squared, right? So I know my a has to be 4. My b has to be 9. Of course, now I can use the fact that what? B squared is equal to a squared minus c squared, right? Which means that if I want to solve for c, I just switch the b and the c. So c squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. And so now I know that c squared is equal to what? A squared, which is 16, minus 9, right? Which is going to equal what? It's going to equal 7. Which means c is going to equal the square root of 7. Now, we don't put the negative because normally, remember, when we take the square root of a number, it's plus or minus. But again, we're assuming that these are lengths, right? And we're not going to deal with negative lengths when we're talking about distances with an ellipse. So these are positive. So c is going to be the square root of 7. Okay, now let's use it to figure out what do they want us to do. Now, what they want us to do is where's the center, where are the vertices located, and where are the foci located. Okay, so now the center obviously is going to be at 0, 0. Okay? They're at 0, 0 because it has that form. So the center is at 0, 0. Okay? What about the foci? Remember, okay, so this is along the x-axis. So again, think about before. We know that the foci are going to be located at the C, right? So it's along the x-axis, so y is always going to be 0. So if we're talking about the foci are going to be at what? It's going to be at negative c comma 0 and positive c comma 0, which means what's c? C is square root of 7. So that means it's going to be negative square root of 7 comma 0 and positive square root of 7 comma 0. Now what about the vertices? Now remember the vertices are at what? Negative a comma 0 and not b, positive a comma 0. And a again is 4. So we know that it's going to be a negative 4 comma 0 and at positive 4 comma 0. So we know the length of the major axis is equal to 8 and the length of the minor axis is equal to 6. And if we wanted the endpoints, the minor endpoints, we know that the minor axis endpoints are going to be located at what? It's going to be, in this case, along the y-axis, and we know that b is equal to 3, so this is going to be 0 comma 3 and 0 comma negative 3 are going to be those vertices, or the endpoints rather, of the minor axis. Okay, so, and then of course, if we know these points, all of these points will help us graph the ellipse if we're asked to, right? So, and again, be prepared to be asked to graph this. So if it's graphed at the origin, right? So we have to graph what? It's going to be at, let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got vertices, right? So that one vertex is here, the other vertex is here, and then what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So we've got another vertex here, another vertex here, And so we know it's going to look something like that. Right? Oh, and by the way, remember, this is a good point to make at this point. Remember, the foci are not graphed, right? This is just this is going to help us with other things like analytics and understanding the behavior and characteristics of the ellipse, but we don't graph the foci when we're graphing an ellipse. All we need to graph are the four vertices, right? The two vertices and the two minor axis endpoints, and then just sketch the graph. Okay? All right. Not bad.